Episode 3. Holy water and other flammable substances delivered to an espresso cult mid-exorcism. Look, I love a good ritual meltdown as much as the next divine courier, but even I wasn't prepared for what the scroll smelled like. Burnt nutmeg, cinnamon oil, fear, and espresso so strong it could unbaptize a saint. It arrived steaming, literally, wrapped in parchment made from recycled sermon notes and singed on the edges like it had passed through a very angry blessing. When I touched it, the bag sneezed. That's never a good sign. Urgent Delivery 1. Sacramental Safety Manual, Class A3, Flammable. 2. The Cult of Caffeinated Revelation. Location, Blasphemy District, Eden Fragment, 404. Notes, cult believes coffee is the blood of God. Currently summoning a caffeine elemental. Multiple burn injuries reported. Local angels requesting earplugs. Warning, do not explain decaf, under any circumstances. I sighed. Then another sigh. Then one of those sighs that hits your pelvis and makes the sky wrinkle. Here we go, I muttered, tightening my robe and stepping into the portal like someone walking into a high-speed confessional made of steam and bad decisions. Eden Fragment 404 had all the charm of a sacred theme park built by exhausted theology students. Neon fig leaves, seraphim holograms, and a welcome sign that read, "In the beginning there was dark roast." As soon as I landed, I was hit with a wave of heat and hysteria. The cult had built a cathedral out of espresso machines, steeples of chrome, altars of stained ceramic, pews made from reclaimed cafe benches. At the center, a boiling fountain of what they called the sacred brew, churned like a sacrament possessed. A dozen wide-eyed baristas in matching linen aprons chanted rhythmically, while wielding milk frothers like holy relics. One was speaking in tongues, another was foaming at the mouth, literally. A third had entered what looked suspiciously like a caffeine-induced stigmata. And in the middle of this frenzy, the elemental. It was beautiful, if you're into caffeinated chaos gods. A swirling vortex of vapor, heat, and espresso. Eyes like crema. Voice like a mocha whispering death threats. It hissed with every rejection and trembled with every unclaimed punch card. I had exactly 3 seconds to not die. "Hey!" I shouted, waving the scroll like a divine cease and desist. "Delivery!" the elemental roared. Several cappuccino cups shattered in ecstasy. One cultist fainted. Another shouted, "The prophecy foams true." "Okay, you know what?" I snapped, striding toward the altar. "This is why we can't have nice things, or functional sacraments." The bag growled, "Smells like unregulated theology in here." "I know," I hissed. "It's like if a coffee shop and an apocalypse had a messy queer breakup." I climbed the altar with the grace of someone utterly done with everyone's spiritual nonsense and held out the scroll. "This," I said, "is a safety manual. Not a gospel. Not a sex toy. Not a New Testament written in latte art. Just a very important manual to help you not burn your souls to a crisp while communing with the divine being." The elemental hissed, then shrank slightly. The cult gasped. A barista moaned, "They speak the ancient brew." I opened the scroll. Inside, instructions, wards, temperature limits, a recipe for spiritual cold brew, a warning about espresso-based possession. Step 7, literally read, "If the deity begins frothing, take a step back and reevaluate your life." As I read aloud, the vortex began to calm. The hiss turned into a simmer. The foamed milk stopped levitating. And the cult? They cried, like babies who finally got the nipple. One of them knelt. "Will you stay? Lead us?" I blinked. "No." "But you brought sacred clarity." "I brought a fire hazard pamphlet and some common sense. That's not holiness, that's logistics." Another cultist sobbed. "We were going to name a roast after you." I paused. Medium dark, smoky, hints of regret and citrus. They nodded solemnly. We'll call it St. Bastard's benediction. I nodded back. Fine, but spell my name right. Later, outside the cathedral, I sat on a stone bench as the elemental flickered down into a low hum, its fury now pacified by ritual and caffeine boundaries. The bag unzipped herself and offered me a sip of something warm. Thanks, I muttered. Remind me to never take deliveries in the Blasphemy District before noon. You say that every time. And I mean it every time. Back in the liminal mailroom, DAWN flickered awake like a smug ghost with an Excel fetish. Next assignment queued. I groaned. Is it emotionally explosive? Define emotionally. DAWN. Next delivery. The baptism of St. Kink. Location, Sanctuary of Sacred Flesh, Carnalia. Subrealm, notes. Leather-clad Messiah seeks validation via divine flogging. Eucharist may involve aftercare. Angels requesting sensitivity training. Warning, high probability of unsolicited intimacy metaphors. The bag purred. I stood. Okay, let's go bless the mess.